and I caught a cold in the heat, which is weird and strange. Because where did the bug come from?
You probably went to bed with wet hair.
I did not.
Oh.
It was this vocal boost.
Oh no.
It's not my vocal booth.
This vocal booth.
Let's open
Nobody's
the
ever come to my vocal booth and be like, yeah, they're sick
No,
afterwards.
but I told you, it happens to me when share, whenever we had like performances, events in Nigeria where I would perform, I had to go buy my mic eventually because when I would share mics, that a lot of people, you know, when this person finishes performing, they give it to, I always
wondered that because like people like put their lips on the mic.
Yeah, every time I would always have a sore throat. So I wound up getting my own mic and using my mics for performances.
Is
and
it
even
pink?
The air, no, ew.
Should
I do not own any. You know what? Those pink, well, they're not exactly pink, but those are the only pink things I own.
What's that?
In life. The pink pants you saw me wear today. Yeah. And it has a top. That's all. I do not like pink as a color. I always hated it as a child because I'm not such a feminine female like that. I think it's just too dainty.
You look pretty feminine to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not that. I think it's...
I'm not saying like it's too dainty for me.
I think it's a little immature of a color, if that's a good word.
Yeah, it's just like, what is pink?
Is it Rick Ross that has a pink Rolls Royce?
You know what's funny?
Probably.
I would even prefer if I saw a pink shirt on a guy.
Interesting.
Than for a girl.
I've had a pink button down before.
Yeah, for like
it would look really nice on a guy, like especially if you're like dark skin. Yeah, but every female is like,
I should go get a pink shirt.
Pink hair, pink bag, pink this. I'm like, what are you, 12?
Yeah.
It's just such a girly.
No, don't tell my daughter that. She's 3.
You see, that's exactly what I said. I can understand for
pink and
purple.
Yeah.
Young
no, she'd be like, it's girly, and your daughter would be like, yay!
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But when you're a grown woman,
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I'm not really a girly girl like that.
Yeah. I think the guy who did the most pink was Machine Gun Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
It was the weirdest one because he came up as like a kind of intense rapper. All of a sudden hits that like punk phase and like everything.
I don't know what was up with that, but
everywhere.
He was pretty. He fit the mold.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, it's just a shocking change.
Yeah.
From like street rapper.
What's your take on tattoos?
Tattoos.
I like them.
Yeah.
But
would you get one?
I mean,
let's get NIWSPACE tattoos.
I'd get one with you.
I was just joking.
Oh. I'm not interested. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to go print something on my body forever.
Not print something on my body.
Would you get a tattoo?
I want to. I wanted to get a tattoo of my mom. Something my mom used to say a lot when she passed. But then the truth is, I don't like needles on my body. Like, you're not gonna find a sticker on a Lamborghini.
They have like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know. Somebody said that, but I'm not. I don't. Yeah. I admire them when I see them. But, oh, that's so cool. I don't even have a second piercing, and I love piercing so much. So I wear this false.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't have a problem with tattoos. I just feel like needles. No.
Yeah. I mean, I like them. Like, as a kid, I wanted to be covered in tattoos. But I just...
You grew up.
I think I will still get a tattoo. I think I still will at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a no for me. I love them. I used to have, like back in the day, those fake ones.
In the price. Like the cost of it. I can't ever justify going.
I can understand the price because it's a forever thing.
I should get NIW, get space, and then when we shake hands, they like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
He's lying. He's never going to do.
I know. See, mine looks okay.
I've been looking at them. I'm like.
My one?
I think yours as
but
well.
I feel like she's got good signal though. Cause look at say something.
Something.
She's all the way up. You see that?
Oh, it's up there, right?
Why is it? But that's just the monitor playback level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's capturing that. It's capturing.
No, but if you turn that fader up to 12, it's gonna be clipping on the meter. But that's just your monitor level.
This?
No, on the actual track in console. Like that's just your level that you're monitoring at. It's not your gain.
No, this is that. It's on 0. It's on Unity.
I know. I'm saying if you turned it all the way up,
No, it wouldn't help.
affect
It wouldn't help.
what's being recorded.
The top one looks better.
That's yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Niyola's that's looking.
Not great. Is it the bass in y'all's voices?
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Probably is.
See, it's there.
Hmm?
She's just like talking really soft. That's
Yeah,
all.
we can. It's not nothing we can.
Okay, you want me to talk like this?
You see that?
Yeah.
I think it's because you're comparing it to theirs. On its own, it probably would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'll keep it
Next
nice
time-
and.
Make sure.
Next time, don't compare us because like we're all different people.
Yo, you're gonna be editing the heck out of this episode. I can tell you that. Oh man. All right, so let's jump into it. So super excited today. Super excited. I think. You know what? I just didn't really think about it till right now. We haven't even talked about this yet, but when the idea of this podcast first happened, the first person I talked to about it is our guest today. And I was like, man, it'd be dope if you could come out from LA for the first episode. But, you know, she was all over the place. I think right before here, you were in New York and just moving around. So that can happen. So, but just the fact that you're here right now is super awesome. Right? And today on the NIWSPACE Podcast, we have a special guest. I'm going to read something about her real quick. Oh, is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So her name is Niyola. Niyola is a dynamic force in the Nigerian music scene. Known for her soulful voice, poignant lyrics, and ability to blend contemporary Afro beats with timeless R&B. With a career that spans over a decade, she's not just a singer, but a storyteller, weaving narratives of love, empowerment, and resilience into her music. Niyola's artistry goes beyond just her vocal prowess. She's an authentic voice for modern African women, bringing depth and emotion to every performance. Whether she's serenading audiences with a ballad or igniting the dance floor with an upbeat anthem, Niyola's music resonates with a universal appeal, making her a standout figure in the global music landscape. And that's who we have in the studio today.
Wow. Hi, guys.
Hey. Welcome.
Welcome. I said welcome, but yeah, you know what I mean. I can't believe I'm here.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah. Because you've known about it from the jump.
I know.
And you've been super supportive, and thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
I'm excited to be here. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And for the rest of us who just happen to be here, this is my name is Ife, and
I'm Jackson.
This is the NIWSPACE Podcast, where we delve into the new space of the music industry and looking at the ups and downs of the music industry as it is today.
Okay.
From the perspective of the producers and engineers you work with every day.
Yes.
Okay.
That is
we
is
try
the essence
to
of
keep
our podcast.
that in it. We just talk a lot, though.
Yeah.
That's
I just feel
I
like
like talking.
Yeah. I feel like it should change. We'll keep. What's the word?
Okay.
Adapting and growing. Yeah.
Swing.
So taking full advantage of Niyola being here today. There's so many facets.
Should I be worried?
No. You shouldn't be worried. No.
I'm joking.
It's all good. I promise.
Okay.
Cool. There's so many cool things that about you and your journey, your experiences as an artist. As you've done a lot of things. You as an artist. I mean, people can find your music videos, live performances on YouTube and it's everywhere. But then you've also done some things like you've hosted The Voice Nigeria,
yes,
which is like voice like the voice, right? And coached like some amazing talent in the music industry. Worked with some of the biggest names in Afrobeat in the world, because really when you talk about Afrobeat, right now, Nigeria, right? So yeah. There's a lot of that, but then you have also created material and courses and have held boot camps, and I've actually been I've joined in on some of them. They have people from the United States, from the UK, from Nigeria, all over the place in her vocal boot camps where she's helping either recording artists or people who perform on stage all the time, like worship leaders and stuff like that, on how to grow and how to be better as singers. And the one thing that I noticed about it is that she would listen to somebody sing or do something, and the way she would explain how they needed to get better was so like, but then it's a gift. Not everybody can do that, when you watch somebody, talk about teaching something, and then they make it so easy to, like absorb and, whatever. So kudos on that. So we're going to be picking your brain to hopefully help some people out there on that. And then we'll talk about some music and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Jackson, where you want to start?
What's up? Well, so did you learn to sing traditionally, like by learning from somebody, or have you just been good?
Crazy story. And every time I talk about this, no one really believes me. And I know it's not something to brag about, but I didn't have the traditional vocal training.
Mm-hmm.
How I learned to train my voice was by singing along people like Mariah Carey, Rachel Farrell, Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, and I would try to sing exactly how they sang.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how I trained my ears. And I would listen to a lot of Indian music growing up. Because, Nigeria, we watched a lot of Indian films growing up.
Really?
No, sorry, G. You know that song?
I know that
song. Wait, so can you do a good Indian accent?
No, sing something Indian, like.
You see my tea here, but I'm going to try. To just really think. Okay, so one of my favorite songs ever is a song called Titli.
Okay.
Is so they would have those smooth, very unconventional melodies that used to just be like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I listened to that, and then I didn't know a lot of technical things, but I just knew that my ears never deceived me. I always just followed my ears.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so you've domesticated your voice. Like we were talking about animals on the way here,
right?
Like wild animals versus like a lot of people just have the line, like just some uncontrollable wild beast for a voice,
right?
Yeah.
And you've got this like controlled.
And whatever I listen to, I see the world through the lens of just music. Like I see sound. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I see sound in everything. So as long as I can trust my ears. Remember when we were working in the studio and I'm like, I don't know the technical term for this, but I can trust my ears. I remember then when I would go in the studio and I would want to do harmonies, and they'll be like, "Is that alto?" I'm like, "Look, I know nothing about that. Just, I trust my ears. This is what is missing in this thing." And so I kind of grew into learning the technical side of things, and then I now started knowing the names for things. When I would be in this, I remember the first time I worked with someone in New York, and they were like, "Oh, this is what you're doing." I'm like, really? That's what I'm doing? I did not know. And so I started to build from there. And I realized that working outside of even Nigeria showed me that I had something where I could just pick things easily and say, that's a nice song. But if this person had done this, what I like to call a vocal stylist. That's what I like to, like how you have a stylist who can look at an outfit and be like, you know what, if you threw on something on this, if you took off this black hat and maybe wore that, it would give you this look. Or, you know what would be crazy if you wore this type of shoes or this type of pants. And we have that with fashion. So I started looking at myself as a vocal stylist.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that was where that came from. And then, you know, I started doing the trainings like just manually on my own and learning from materials. And yeah, that's the short version of the story.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it obviously worked out. That was crazy. You sounded like a recording.
You know what?
When you were just singing.
I know. I know personally, just me personally. I know very, very few singers that can do that thing you just said, Jackson, where they can make their voice sound like it's already been EQ'd, compressed.
Yeah, like she sounded like a recording.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was even saying, you see my tea, like you know what's been happening.
Yeah.
So I came we're in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I came from LA. And I just developed this cold from nowhere. And I'm like, how do I have a cold in the hot weather?
Yeah.
But that's that about that. I was
super sorry to interrupt this beautiful, amazing episode with Niyola, but I've got news that Niyola helped us create this news. Come this way. This is actually my studio. I don't think you've seen it yet. It's pretty dang cool. I love it. But anyhow, we have come out with a vocal sample pack. We're talking about one of the top singers in the entire world, arguably the top singer in the entire world. Recorded in one of the top studios in the entire world, arguably the top studio in the entire world. You get a beautiful dry sample, you get a beautiful wet sample, pick what you like. Check out this sample. This is actually one of my favorite samples in the entire pack. We even have like a 3-minute and 20-second Yoruba chant in here. Check it out. Now let's get back to the episode.
I was even thinking like I wasn't able to do it properly, but thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Fire.
I was just thinking, like, I remember, it wasn't this time, but like last time, I told you to add some air in your voice. And this chick went in there and, like, it was like I put a pull tech on, like, 8K and boosted to, like, 5 out of 8. It sounded like she literally put air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, or when you tell her like, oh, belted, but you know, like keep it controlled. It's like you could almost hear like a compressor engaging. It's crazy. Yeah, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you
I'm looking at him like I do, but I don't.
Yeah,
I do, but I
and that's cool. I like it like that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Oh God, I'm on the hot seat now. I'm just like shy. Thank you.
No, that's crazy. Super cool. So.
Why am I looking at Jackson like I feel like he wants to bring out some bazooka and just be like but I'm here for it.
I've got a bazooka right here.
Oh! Guys, there's like a full page. Okay.
No, I was gonna just pick. What's the funniest or most ridiculous rumor you've heard about yourself?
That I was pregnant.
She was like ready, just like it's been sitting on her chest.
So
all day.
I'm in my house. I'm in my house, just you know, living life and just minding my own business. And it's on the internet that I'm pregnant for this artist whose label that I used to be on.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, his name is Banky W, and it's all over the blogs. Like it's all over the blogs. And they said, oh, we had been dating for a while, and. And that I had been pregnant for him twice and I had taken the babies out, but this time around I was like, no more, and I'm gonna have this child this time.
What?
And so there's
and you look at your stomach like,
and I'm like, what are you talking about? Where is I hadn't even seen this guy in about 2 years.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was 2 years before then, and people were blowing up my phones. People were sending me DMs threatening me.
That's crazy.
People were calling me out of my name, cursing me and my destiny and my generations. And I was just like, this is wild. And it went on for almost 3 weeks. You know, typically you would hear a rumor, 2 days, it would blow over. This wasn't going anywhere. That's the craziest thing and funniest thing. It was funny to me. People were calling me like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not even remotely fazed because it was just funny to me. Because, like, where do people just whoop things out from and decide that this is what we're going to do today?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's more just intensified since you have eyes on you already. Like everything is already worse when it comes to rumors, I guess. So like
I mind my business. Like I'm that person who you're never gonna catch me in places that some people just have a thing for it. They're drawn to drama. I'm the person who minds my business. I don't. So when I saw, I'm like, okay, you finally have your scandal, because I don't think I've ever really had a scandal.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
finally have a scandal. I was like, okay, this is interesting. It was just very funny to me.
Did you think of it as a no publicity is bad publicity type of
If
thing?
I did not think anything, I was just like, when you guys are tired,
Yeah.
you will be quiet.
Yeah.
Because there was no iota of truth to it. And even if it was true, I'm a grown woman. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
how I feel about things like that. I've never really been the person to let social media faze me or bother me. That's a world. It's a realm, but it's not a real realm for me.
yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of have to have that ability to go into that mindset, especially if you're going to step into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, I can't imagine you going anything other than insane.
That's true. And now there's social media. Remember, there was a time where there was no social media, where you had to face the reality of what you were perceived as real time, as opposed to now you can hide behind social media. And maybe some people would put out statements and,
Yeah.
but then if you had to go in entertainment, be an artist, be an actor, whatever, you had to know what you were going in for. And that's the time that I came into it. So all this is just like, it's like,
No, but
like,
even people that came from it before then, they've acclimated. They're controlled by social media too. People that even came before you. But it's good. I mean, don't. My point is, don't discredit yourself.
Okay.
I think you're doing it the right way.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're not comedians.
Why?
Because you'd be expected to be that funny guy everywhere you go. Like, I feel like that'd be the worst type of publicity to have.
But I also think that social media is one of the best things that have happened to entertainment. However, like with everything, it has its pros and it has its cons. And if you see it as a tool where you know how to make it work for you, just like with everything else, I think you're good. Like, no matter how much you want to put out there in the world for people to see, I think that you still hold the power to decide what you want to share and what you don't want to share.
Yeah.
So even if you are a comedian, you still get to decide how you want to portray yourself. And if you're consistent in it, that's what people are going to accept. So it seems as if that is what I think part of the issues that I see and I have seen is a lot of times people try to let the market dictate to you. But I find that sometimes, I think it's half and half. Sometimes people don't really know what they want until you give it to them. A lot of times there's certain maybe genres of music or types of films or things that we've seen now or fashion that are now big that people didn't know that they liked or they wanted or they needed until it came to be. And so when we have this mentality of where this is what people want to see alone, you would just be driven by the wind. And these people don't know what they want. So the next new thing that comes, they've moved there. And then you're now left like, let me move and do that thing. And it's not sustainable. You wear out, you tire out, you burn out. You're like, I'm so frustrated. But if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, you give them what they want while still retaining what you want to share. I think that's cool.
Yeah, social media is a weird thing.
Be careful, we're on it right now.
Yeah,
I know.
It is terrible to watch social media.
It is.
And
I think
making content for people to spend time on social media for.
That's the reason why I use that brick device and I block out. You know about the brick? So this is a little thing, right? Free promo for brick, but it's a little thing NFC, and I put it against my phone.
What's it do?
It blocks out every app. My phone becomes like a flip phone.
What do you mean?
Like only calls, text messages work.
Huh.
Yeah. And
Pretty
then
cool.
wherever I put it, I have to go walk my behind to wherever the device is to unblock it.
I love it.
To break it down.
I try,
so that means even WhatsApp, Telegram, and all that?
You can let by any app that you want to let by.
Okay.
Yeah. Like whitelisted or whatever.
Huh.
But yeah.
I like it.
So I keep mine on the refrigerator. So most of the time, it's not on right now, but most times when I'm in the
Does
studio.
It affect you or everybody in the house?
Just me.
Okay.
Just me.
Like
Yeah.
sends out like an EMT.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, is my Instagram not going to be working right now?
No. Just me. So when I'm in here and I'm supposed to be like creating or focused or mixing, whatever, there's no, breaking and I start doing this. And then I'm like, oh, dang. And I see somebody that's like, oh my God, they're really doing it. I'm like, oh, like, dang, I wouldn't. And then I just get all, you know how it goes. Yeah. I think people want control back of their time. So
yeah,
I think they'll be up for it.
I think social media is great. It's just having to understand how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because next thing you know, you've been scrolling for 40 minutes. And
Yeah.
Like,
that felt so
and then
good.
I'm just scrolling right now. This is not good.
One,
and then you just keep going.
more.
I know.
That's terrible, man.
But I love Instagram.
I know.
Yeah.
Instagram cracks me up.
It does.
I love. It's always like those. I have like a few moments in my life where I remember like just a really funny experience on Instagram. Like you ever just have those nights where you just happen to come across the funniest things you've ever seen. You just have a good, lonely, laughing session.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just like that.
And it's like we're searching for that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
and then you get the.
It's like once every 4
Well, you
months.
get that one.
And then you share it with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
It's the worst when you're like showing someone a video that you thought was awesome, and you're like showing them, and they're just like,
Ooh, have you seen the Show Me the Money videos?
No.
Okay, so I gotta tell you about this. We should have just done it to him.
I know.
Close one.
Dang.
You already ruined my life telling me I look like everyone that walks the earth.
Bruh, you look like Seth Rogen. You look like Young Gravy. You look like Oyibo Rebel. Who was the fourth person? Was that 3? Oh no, he doesn't look like Jonah.
Don't.
No, I diskigree on that one. I got your back.
It's
I got your
I'm
back.
white. That's what it is.
No, he don't look like him. No, I promise.
Okay, good.
Seth Rogen for sure.
He looks like Janet Jackson. You got the chin dimple and the eyes.
I don't think so, but she's
Don't let
a
it get to
beautiful
you.
woman.
He does this to everyone I know.
She's a beautiful woman.
I was like, I wanted her to
don't
join
think
the
so.
party, so I just, yeah.
A lot of people have said, and that's the one that I see, that I look like Ashanti.
Oh, oh my God.
Everybody says I look like Ashanti.
She was like Ashanti.
That's
you know
the
Ashanti?
only one that I agree
I
with.
know
Everybody
someone
else, I'm
named that,
like,
but I don't
yeah.
think it's who y'all are talking about.
I got a couple questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
So, I know that, like I said earlier, you have a passion for helping singers,
Mm-hmm.
cultivate and find their own sound. You are a vocal stylist,
Ha!
and I love that.
Love it.
Yeah, and I've seen you do it on The Voice, and I've literally seen you do it in a Zoom meeting with a bunch of singers and whatever.
And in the studio.
And in the studio as well, vocal coaching.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you. So Jackson and I, we work with singers all the time. We track singers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes we're like, okay, try to do it like this. Maybe smile when you do that, or you want to hit that note. Get on your tippy toes, or just something. Yeah. Like what is like? Is there like a general approach that? What are you looking for when you see a singer? Like, what are the things that you're checking for? That like, okay, I'm gonna check this off, check this off, and then I'll be able to diagnose what they need.
I love the fact that you said diagnose, because it's like when you go to a doctor. You go to a doctor, you want to find out, you have your symptoms,
mm-hmm.
and then from the symptoms, they can diagnose what it is that they suspect is wrong. If it's necessary to do a test. So the first thing for me is to identify the strength and the weakness of the singer.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're trying to achieve. Because you could be trying to help a person sing better, but you also have to know what they're trying to achieve. For instance, if the person is trying to sing a particular song, you have to identify what is this type of song? What is the emotion that this song requires? Does it require someone like me? I remember that I used to have issues, and sometimes I still kind of struggle with it, where I would have to hear the first take of something to know that, no, that's not the approach. I need to sing it softer. I need to sing it stronger. So to identify the emotion that you're trying to bring up, for instance, if you're trying to say a song like, baby, I love you, you are my life. You're not going to be like, baby, I love you. Like, that's hardly, because I believe that singing is, you're telling a story. You're communicating something. And so what you're saying has to be believable. So a lot of times you hear some songs where it's so melodious, it's nice, but I don't feel anything. And so for me, it's like you have to be communicating with whatever it is that you're singing in every way. Every note, every tone has to say what it is that you're saying. And so what I look for is to first identify the strength of the singer and the weakness, and to use the strength to cover the weaknesses to achieve what we're trying to achieve, whatever it is.
Okay.
For instance, I was diagnosed with the hernia, which started to affect my breathing right here, like a hiatal hernia. And I noticed that sometimes I couldn't belt my notes properly. And because I knew the problem, I knew how to like circumvent and just navigate through, just find a way to go past it. Know that, okay, there's certain high notes you don't necessarily have to do. If you really want to do it, you can do it in falsetto. And if you feel like the falsetto is too falsetto or too thin, you can do a lower octave of it and just pat it under it. That's for recording. Right. And it will sound just as good. So it depends really on what you're trying to achieve. There are rules in music, but at the same time, there are no rules in that. Like I said, I like to go with my ears, because your ears can never lie to you.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So is it more important to get notes technically right, or like if you had to stick with one, like get a singing performance technically right or emotionally right?
I think it's one and the same for me. Two things can be true at the same time. But I think I would rather go for the emotion than the
and
notes.
That's what one of my favorite YouTubers, Colt Caparoon, says. He says, I don't know if he came up with this, but he said there's a button, like in the studio at least, and live performances nowadays, there's a button for pitch, there's a button for timing, but there's not a button for emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody who, I remember I was doing a music video back some years ago, and it was this videographer. I'm sure he would be shocked if he ever saw this, Clarence. And he would say to me, you look amazing. I can make you look bigger or smaller or nicer. But what I can't do is I can't give you the right attitude. So he would say, I need more. I need more. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much what you're saying. Like, that is the factor that can be, you can't buy it. You can't pretend to have it, which is why for me, it's important that you stay true to your element.
Right. And interesting enough, it's the thing people are most attracted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the feeling. It's like when you sell it's like how you were talking about earlier, like people selling something you didn't know, you see something you didn't know you needed, and now you need it because you know it exists, because you've gotten a taste of what you could feel like if you had that thing.
Yeah.
So, like that black thing you spoke about, I didn't know I needed it, but now I need it. The thing for the
brick. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're interested in the feeling of productivity, of like success in that department. It's like interesting. We're selling feelings.
Yeah.
And especially in music.
You said or technically accurate take versus the emotion. I feel like I agree with you, or I agree with her, and I know that you would go with the emotion too. But if you think about it this way as well, if the emotion is right, and everybody in the room or anybody listening feels like the emotion is right, then the note is right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the note is right. You know, there was a video I saw on YouTube, and what's this guy? A band from Bohemian
Rhapsody.
Is it not Bohemian Rhapsody? That's Gershwin. But you know something Bohemian. It's a
Garden.
Huh?
Is it the Garden?
It's a rock song. I can't help me in the comments, please. But it's a rock record. It's Bohemian something. Is it come? Is it come?
I'm about to Google it.
You know what I'm talking about? Queen. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
Queen. Lead singer from Queen. Somebody took something from the 70s or whatever and auto-tunes it. Right?
Yeah.
It puts auto-tune on his vocals from a live performance. Right? And then played side by side with no auto-tune. And the auto-tune sounded dead. It just sounded like it was just off. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like, he still hits his notes well, but it wasn't exact.
Yeah, so like
And that blew my mind.
If you were perfectly flat on every note you hit, would it just sound like perfectly in tune?
And the
yeah, I believe so.
Sweet.
And the problem with that, I think, is that because we're so used to auto-tune now, so used to hearing it, we're used to hearing every note, where we recognize every note that's exactly on. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing interesting about what you're singing anymore because I'm hearing the same exact note that I'm hearing from that song and that song.
Yeah.
But when you're off a little bit, you can only be off that one way. Yeah. It's like never going to be that exact. The way that it's like, the way it twists and bends the note.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I feel keeps people like locked in. You know what I mean?
In live performances, that's why people will always gravitate towards live performances more because there's that connection in the live performances as opposed to a record.
Yeah.
Where you know that this is already automated to be a certain way. But a live performance, you can kind of connect.
But the stuff we've done, like I mean, just a touch. Like I'm not locking you, like trying to lock you in on the exact note. Like remember that note? Some of the notes you did, I was like, it was like Nora Jonesy or whatever. I was telling you, you were like bending into it. If I put auto-tune in it, it's gonna like, it's gonna cut to the note.
Yeah.
But so it was very little, just to, you know what I'm saying, so we could keep going with the session, right?
And auto-tune is getting crazy good though.
It is, but it's never gonna be there. It's
no, just for what you're saying, like give a little nudge.
Yeah.
But it'll never be able to replace that human feel, even with the humanized knob.
Yeah.
Not with AI now.
Oh gosh,
you're about to be like, AI, give me the almost perfect, not perfect pitch.
Yeah.
No, make the emotion make up for the lack of.
If you like, I remember like, somebody put something out and it was a song or whatever, and then like someone was like, those are ChatGPT lyrics, because it does its thing in a very certain way. Now I know it's going to get better, but you read it and there's no feeling in it. It's just like, it just sounds very, very cookie cutter. You know what I mean?
No, me and ChatGPT have a really emotional relationship.
Oh, that's good for you.
I think it depends on the prompts, whatever prompts you give it.
Even if you use it as a songwriting tool, I feel like you're like, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it exactly like that.
I think that it will work pretty good for people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I love it for like emails and for like like video outlines.
How did we get here?
No,
It's just amazing.
you know, how did we get here? That's a good question. Because nowadays the modern day artist has to be well versed in so many different things.
Right? Because
You know
now
what I
how
mean?
you gonna compete with a computer?
Yeah.
If you're just making, like, a lot of people just want to make music in their bedroom, release it, and be rich, but that a computer could do that nowadays. So now you have to be out there promoting yourself, doing live performances. You got to be doing the whole 9 yards. You know where that saying's from?
What? The whole 9 yards? What?
I think it's from an old military thing. The ammunition they would use was 9 yards long.
What?
Like they would
Oh,
shoot
really?
from
It was
the
that big?
like turret gun. It's like a 9 yard long strip of bullets.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
like-
to fact check you, buddy. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I never heard that.
I've never actually thought about it. I've never thought about where did it come from.
The whole 9 yards.
Because I was thinking in football, and I was like, that makes sense. A first down is
10 yards.
10 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, where's this from?
I gotta ask a question. I've seen you working in the studio, you know, by yourself, meaning like just us, and there've been other artists in the room as well. And tell me about one of the most difficult sessions you've ever had, like a recording session. And I'll tell you the reason I'm asking that while you're thinking. We've talked about studio etiquette before, right? We've talked about how to, you know, take full advantage of the time that you spend and go to the studio, paying your money or whatever like that. Just taking, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. So, yeah. Tell me about like crazy.
I think of a couple, but I'll just pick one that comes to mind right now. One of the things that drives me totally crazy is working with. Okay, let me go back a little bit. So, like I said, music is let me sound like my UK, but it's a connection thing for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, just like even with human beings, with a relationship, you find a guy, he's a great guy, you're a great girl, but you just don't, it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Sometimes you find a great producer, you're a great singer, but you just don't have that chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this producer like that who, for me, what makes a good producer is not about just what you know in terms of like music. You have to be able to translate what's in my head to something substantial.
Yeah.
And I always would have that problem a lot of times because, you know, the way that I hear music was very unconventional. I'm speaking like in Nigeria now at the time. And they would be like, they would just give me what everybody else was doing. And I'd be like, no, that ain't it, you know? And there was this particular producer. And I'm also very sensitive in terms of like, I don't want to make anybody feel like I don't appreciate their craft. And I don't want to make anybody feel like I'm being just... So I was in this session for 6 hours. I knew I was never going to use that song.
Oh, no.
I knew that after that session, I was throwing everything away. I was miserable. Everything he was doing was just like, are you listening to what you're doing?
Yeah.
And then I was sad. I was sad throughout that session. And he was just in a world of his own, just having fun. And I'm just like, if I were him, I would know that I wasn't enjoying myself.
And this is a producer that people mess with.
Yeah.
Know.
I was there for 6 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
Wow.
It was painful. But I sat through it. I did the session and I never touched the song again.
Well, maybe he...
Man, dude, how do we avoid that?
Now.
Have you ever been in a session with somebody for 6 hours? Because it probably wasn't good. I don't know.
It was 6 hours. It was 6 painful, long hours.
So let's talk to producers for a second. How do you how do you navigate that? Like, what should that producer have been able to,
First
like
of
just
all,
tell
he
from
was
your
not.
body language?
He was not a good listener.
Mm.
1, 2. He didn't have the ability to comprehend what I was saying. When people are not flexible, people want to go by, this is how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I'm used to it. So he wasn't open to trying it out a different way, or trying things out a different way. I've met some producers who would be offended if you try to suggest things to them.
Mm-hmm.
I have met those. That they just want to be the ones in control of everything. Like, don't tell me what to do. You're telling me what to do. And for me, it's like, how are we going to work?
Yeah.
It has to be like a symbiosis. Like, it has to be.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, the producer's job is to make the artist shine. Like, that's the whole point. But I feel like a lot of producers nowadays get this, like, complex where they're the star. Yeah. Their name's attached to it, so they're going to control the sound. That's not
And
good.
I want you to do everything, because I don't want to just do whatever you want. At least translate what's in my head for me. A lot of people get offended by that.
Tell me what you think about this. I feel like, because I've been in situations where I was struggling with pulling out what was in the, or just being honest, right? And what I try to do is I start thinking about it like, okay, Ife, try to get out of the way of the song. Even if what you do ends up being more minimalistic, try to be as minimalistic as possible, and then add incrementally versus like wall of sound or whatever the case is, and maybe trying to do whatever.
Yeah.
I do like minimal. And I think it's kind of worked, a lot. And then producers, let's learn how to read the room. Okay. If a singer's like hand on cheek like this, they're not feeling it. They're just not. That's universal. Like
with the sound on.
This is universal. The session's not going well. Right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make sure that nobody's hungry.
Make sure that nobody is hungry, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. Yeah.
But I've grown through it over the years. I think I've found a way to kind of balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was either really outspoken or totally quiet. But now I know how to kind of navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is maybe find references. Sorry that I'm clearing my throat like this.
No, you're good.
I would find references. I could find like 4, 5 songs and be like, the kick in that, the guitar in that.
You just make the song.
Then this in that, and this and that, kind of like paint a picture.
Yeah.
And it almost always works. But then again, I don't come across such producers anymore. Thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I just go with people that I have chemistry with. And sometimes it's not the fault of the producer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that they very well are used to people who know the technical terms, who can express what they want. Like me, sometimes with keys, I could be confused and confusing with keys. I could be singing something. It's nice. Like when I'm working with you, he'll be like, "Oh, that's fire." I'll be like, "Yeah, it's fire," but it's not giving me. It's not warm enough. It's not like we talk about emotion. It's not giving me the emotion that I want, that I require. Let's try another key where I'm not as high, or where I'm higher, where it's brighter. And some producers will find that stressful and be like, "Why are you changing your keys up and down? What's going on?" But it takes a person who the motive is, like you said, making, not even the artist, making the song, making a great song, making the art shine, not the artist even, making the art. It's about the art, to be able to understand that, whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. And let's also not forget that some singers are stressful.
Yeah, that's true.
I know when I can be stressful, when it's like, that notice, I'm like, no, I don't like it. It doesn't sound good. But I also learn to trust people. When it says, I like it, I'll be like, you like it? Okay, cool. I leave it.
Yeah.
So everybody just has to understand where to make concessions for the next person.
Yeah.
we had a great session yesterday, and I think one of the major things is we have this understanding, like, whatever you say about anything that I do, you're not hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
It's about the song.
Yeah.
Right? If I tell her, hey, that ain't it, I'm not hurting her feelings. It's about the song.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We
Changing keys and changing tempo is something bold that I see a lot of like successful artists and producers doing. But like a lot of people that are really just like they're holding on to the little bit of like sounding good that they have, and like big changes like that are too scary for people.
Well, let me ask you, because you just answered that. You believe that songs have their keys. Do you believe that? Do you believe that some songs don't work in certain keys? It just don't work in certain keys, right?
I believe that strongly, matter of fact.
I think once you start playing with those big strokes of change, you're on the right path to like explore the full potential of the song.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt just to pitch.
There are some songs that if you just change the key, it would be a totally different song.
Yeah,
the energy would be, it's vibrations.
Yeah,
you know, it's a different vibration when it goes up or it goes down. It's if it goes faster or slower, you've changed the total vibration of the song, and it's different. It makes a difference.
And
if you did, 'cause I'm happy, it's different from 'cause I'm happy. If you feel, it's just it's the same song, but it's a different feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I feel like also what happens, like where the melody sits in the song, like you start dropping it down, it just doesn't work. It's just anyway. But if you're a producer, by the way, we've had some people like just being really mean to us in the comments about us talking about technical stuff, and you know, like you don't need to have all that technical knowledge. You don't need to have all the technical knowledge. That's fine, but it does help. Okay, it does help. They're just tools. That's all it is tools. So I say that to say, with music theory, if you're a producer or you're an artist, try to get as much music theory as you can, because whenever you're trying to troubleshoot what's going on, even though you feel that something's wrong or you feel like you want to make something better, you know, that music theory is going to come through for you like a tool.
Yeah.
It's like a carpenter that, okay, I know I need to hit that nail into that piece of wood, but if you don't have a hammer, it's going to be kind of hard.
Yeah,
right?
And if you don't have the understanding, you can't know what to fix.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, for sure. Keys, music theory, right? You don't have to learn how to read music and staff music and all that stuff and know chord notes and eighth notes and whatever. But understand, like, okay, you know, major keys, minor keys, you know, going down a whole step or half step or going up a whole step. That's you can figure that out in a week and be comfortable with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it will change your songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you download samples from Splice, you know, or any other place, and you don't know how to like switch the keys and give them a different vibe, just from changing the keys alone, man, you're missing out. Like you waste, like, you know, you throwing half your money at Splice away.
Or switch the sample into different notes that's in the same key of the song.
Yeah.
Like going up a fifth, down a fifth.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Absolutely.
It's cool to do like those deep vocals, like those demon voices that people use in music. Like instead of like a whole octave down, going a fifth down. Sometimes that sounds really cool.
Wouldn't that like, well, a perfect fifth would work. See now those are the comments that's making me feel like self-conscious about talking about like technical stuff now.
You better say your truth. Like people can take from me what they want to take.
Yeah, I'm really not worried.
I get on my own YouTube channel, bro, people just hate me. It seems that way, dude. Because I did a video on the Chaotica eyeball, and I was just going through their website like on the fly, and I see Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I was like, are these guys engineers or are they producers and rappers? And then some guy was so upset that
I would be upset.
No, that I didn't
they're
say.
Not engineers.
No, I looked up Dr. Dre's engineer, and there was a video about titled Dr. Dre's engineer breaking down engineering. I was like, oh, so he's not an engineer. I don't know. That's not.
I know, but people are sensitive about stuff like that.
Right, but
especially when
like,
they're a fan of that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
She's pissed at you right now.
I'm not
Yeah.
pissed, but I could be. Just because I'm here in the same room with you and I understand your sentiments. And just, I
Yeah.
forgive you.
Thank you. I just knew he was a producer, and I knew Snoop Dogg was a rapper, and I knew they were a duo that worked together. It's like, I mean, frankly, this is gonna dig my hole a little deeper. But he's using the chaotic eyeball?
There's so much that can be said about that. Maybe they sponsored him. Maybe they just
I
sent
said
it to
their
him.
name too. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe- more clicks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that.
I'm falling apart over here.
All right.
So, I still want to touch a little bit on singers. I'm not sure. You tell me, but have you ever been in a situation where you had to record yourself at home?
Yeah.
You have?
I don't like it much, but yeah.
Okay. So, what's that experience versus studio for you? Like, what do you struggle with? Do you struggle with I gotta set up the mic, I gotta do this and hit record myself? Or is it more of the, you prefer being with people? Or?
I prefer the energy. Everything has a spirit, right?
Mm.
Everything has its own energy. It's just like I was saying to somebody the other day that for me, when I write for others, I could quickly do like a formula writing and quickly put stuff together. Like if I'm writing for a film or whatever, I could do all of that. But if I'm writing for me, I prefer to write in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know, it's just the feeling of it. Because as I'm writing, I'm already seeing what I wanted to do to whoever's listening to it, how I want it to affect people, how I want it to be when I'm performing it. Like it's a whole, I see the end from the beginning of it for me. So I prefer the energy in the studio.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, just like how some people wouldn't eat in their bedroom. They just want to eat on the dining table. And you would say, oh, you're too prim and proper. But it's just the feeling of it. I call it like, it's meditative for me. It's like my will, my emotions and everything is just.
Yeah. Have you ever been a shy singer?
Present.
Like very like self-conscious about your art as a singer?
When I was younger.
When you were younger? Okay. Just talking, the reason I ask that question is talking to different people. A lot of times, artists that prefer to be by themselves when they're recording or, record at home, they rather do that, or ones that are like, they're a little bit self-conscious about their art. They might be fire, like really, really good, but they just kind of like,
I hear that. I've never actually really thought about that. I don't like when there are too many people in the studio for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because of shyness. It's just I don't want clashing energies, please.
Yeah, it's just
like
inconvenient.
I just so that I can, because I'm a big feeler. So I can be able to know what I'm feeling at the time. I don't want to jam your energy with that person's energy. No, it could affect my creative flow.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like too many people. I want the people who are in sync with me in what I'm trying to do to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I'm recording, I want the booth to be dark so that I'm just zoned out like that. I don't think it's because of shyness. It's just for energy.
Is that dark enough for you? I could turn the light up.
That's dark enough.
Okay, cool.
Just with a little bit of the strobe lights or, just flashing lights or whatever it is, just not bright.
Yeah.
So that I can dig in.
Would you like a studio that was like nature was integrated into it, like lots of daylight coming in and
No, I want a studio to look like a studio.
What if it was in the jungle and you could see lions walking around outside?
No, I want the studio to feel like a studio where I'm trying to create music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was in a jungle, I would even want to make the jungle look like a studio so that I can get that feel.
Like you'd hang up pictures of studios
some
on the
plaques
wall.
on the wall. Some plaques on the
tree. Yeah. I'll find a tent and just make it look like a booth. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you one thing right now. As you're talking, I'm like, man, we need to hear your voice more. Like, you need to more
I know.
records.
I actually ran away
Jackson,
from.
have you heard her sing?
I just did.
You just
I
did,
ran
right?
away from singing for
But,
some
bro,
time.
We're gonna do a session with
Because-
her. It's nuts, bro. It's absolutely nuts. So
Let's do it.
yeah. We're gonna bookmark this episode, and then for maybe like one video, like a video, that she's gonna do in the future. We'll just take this clip and put it at the beginning of the video. Yeah,
I like that thinking.
yeah.
But seriously, I had to run away from like doing my own records for a while because I just needed some time. You know, music is crazy.
It is.
It's crazy, and I've been doing this for so long that I just felt like, and I still feel like, I think it's I think it's time to. Oh, sorry. I think it's time to take the mastery of the art to the level that I have, and kind of, I know this is very cliche, give back. That's where I feel that I am now. Like, I want to train, I want to, help people with the mistakes that I've made, where I've failed, where I've succeeded. I want to pour that back into people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's necessary, especially my heart. Of course, I am Nigerian.
Yeah.
1000% Nigerian. So it's an emerging market. As much as Afrobeats is doing great right now, it's still an emerging market where there's not necessarily a structure yet. And I feel like because of the experience that I have, I can do more from that position. But it looks like I'm going to have to jump back, at recording and putting out records. I really don't want to have to, not because of anything other than the fact that this is just where I am right now. I feel like I would serve better at doing that for people, for people that are coming up. But I will definitely put out records, but it's going to be different though. It's going to be different. It's got to be different.
For the sake of being different, or because you know that what's in you is just different anyway?
I mean, because you grow with time. I've evolved. I've grown. My understanding has grown. It's different. I'm a different person. And so the approach is going to be different.
You should start your own podcast.
When we started talking about this thing, he has been saying for donkey years, you need your own podcast. But can I tell you, this is great because we're having a conversation and I'm talking to you and I'm talking to you. But I'm actually not sick of, but it just makes me feel like I don't want to be talking at people because I don't like being talked at. When I see those podcasts where one person is just looking like, if you want to be in, I'm like, move.
Yeah, maybe if you're doing it alone, more like story times.
I'm still talking at people. That's
by the way, she said move. When a Nigerian says move, it's not just move. Like get out of here and move.
That's how
Like,
I
move.
feel a lot of times when I see it. And so for me to just sit down and be talking at people, I mean, I coach. And then when I do that in the Zoom or whatever, I can see the interactions. I need connection. I need connection. So I've been trying to figure out, I know there's a lot inside of me that I want to, and that I have to pour out. I just need to figure out how to do it. But I don't want to sit down in front of a camera and be like, it would be robotic. I know it's going to be, I'll probably ease into it, but I need connection.
So you need a co-host in LA.
So the co-host that I had found, who would have been perfect, he's moving from LA back to Nigeria.
Oh.
Dang
He's a
it.
producer, fantastic producer. But if we still do it, it would mean that I would have to go film in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I would want to have guests over because there's so many things to be discussed. To be honest, But I feel like in Nigeria, part of the issues that we have is that people don't know history. at least in the Western world, there's a record. There are records of things. We don't really have that in Nigeria. In this generation of artists don't know the first thing about that last generation, and there's nowhere really for them to search for this information because we don't really keep archives like that.
Yeah.
So it has to be word of mouth, and these conversations need to be had. The education of if I had a 15-year-old, where would I send that 15-year-old to if she wanted to do music?
Right.
In Nigeria.
Yeah.
If you had a 15-year-old daughter or an 8-year-old that you can see, at least I know my father helped me discover that I could sing.
Mm-hmm.
If you discovered your daughter had a talent to sing,
we're going to American Idol. I'm just kidding.
What are you going to do to help develop that child in Nigeria? So I feel like there are things that I know that I'm well suited for.
Yeah.
That I could serve better than just singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody said something that music has always, I think it was will.i.am, that music is supposed to sell something.
Yes.
Music's supposed to be attached to something.
Yes.
Like, and if it's just music for the sake of music, then, so I'm still saying what I'm saying. You need records because you have a lot to do.
He's like...
No, seriously. You're an amazing vocal coach, right? And you need to do more of your boot camps ASAP. Like if you have the more music that you have out, it's just getting people to see like the prowess of what you've done, can do, and will do, and still do.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And whether as a vocal coach or building infrastructure in Nigeria or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I agree. We're gonna do it, right?
Yeah, and she's an actress too. She's got movies on Netflix you can watch right now. By the way,
heck?
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah.
Out
like,
there.
Yeah.
ChatGPT didn't tell you.
Like starring Niyola.
I didn't read the entire page. It was long. It gave me a whole article about
it. So, and then she also she's a sync writer, so she writes music for TV, film, yeah.
Swag.
Yeah.
No, let me say the Nigeria way, steez.
Steez.
We say steez.
Steez.
You know what steez is?
Steez.
You know what steez is?
Steez.
Oh, before we came on camera, we were teaching him how to say my actual name.
Yeah.
Can you say it? Do you remember?
Why are you breathing so hard all of a sudden?
Wait, Niyola?
Niyola.
Niyola.
That's it.
It's close.
I would have never remembered the notes.
Say this.
Ray, me.
Ray, me.
Me.
Do you know Soulfish?
Yeah.
Do re mi fa sol la ti do. It's kind of based on that.
Elementary school.
Ray. Enio.
Me.
Eniola. So say Eniola. Woo! You see, that's vocal coaching right there.
All right.
You gotta say it like you're singing.
Magbawjue.
That was close enough.
Why you always have to get so big?
You look at me like I was just trying to fully immerse myself in the situation. Like you go to the studio.
You know what that means?
No.
That means I will smack your face.
What?
You said it back to me.
Okay, I feel better.
So next time you come here, when I open the door, be like, kilong hapon.
Kilong hapon.
Kilong hapon.
Kilom harpoon?
Oh God! Cut it out.
Seriously?
Is it harpoon? Are you fishing?
For real? We gonna catch a whale. Harpoon? Let out the harpoons.
You know the word happen? Like HAPPEN?
Yeah.
Happen.
Harpoon.
Mm-hmm. So say kilo hapun.
Kilo hapun.
Bro, you sound like a little slow.
Well, I'm like, it's hard repeating her because she's like an octave up.
Okay, kilo
like when
hapun.
you say it, I'm like, kilo hapun.
Bro, I'm not that aggressive. So chill.
But it's easier to just quickly turn it around.
Kilo hapun.
So we're going to end it here. And this has been the NIWSPACE Podcast. I am Ife.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Miss Nini.
Yes. AKA
Niyola.
AKA
Niyola.
AKA
vocal stylist. I know that's what you were getting at.
I love it.
And
We're
it's
out.
been fun hanging out.